What's up, guys? We are back for our playoffs match right now versus Caden and Jeff. Well, can't really say that, but anyway, before I start explaining, because it's different, Nick is here. You can introduce yourself.
Well, what is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and yeah, this match was this was a little different.
Yeah. As you can see, it's another post-com, unfortunately, because this battle was horribly planned. On all sides,
planned.
And it happened at 3 a.m. for me. I was at family house, everyone was sleeping, so I guess you don't want me to whisper the entire video, so we just had to do a post-com, and yeah.
Yeah, I got back from a date and like immediately hopped on my computer. Was like, all right, let's get this battle.
And we're back from that. Anyways, I can just start the battle right now, and
Yeah.
we lead off with Mr. Clean here because we pretty much volt switch on anything besides Dark Trio, and even if Dark Trio came out, there's no way he's staying in fearing a Hydro Pump or even just a Will-O-Wisp. So we just thought Rotom Wash was a really good lead because we can volt switch on anything or just paralyze / toxic anything we want.
Anything that outspeeds and threaten us, we just Thunder Wave, and anything that underspeeds us, we Volt Switch out into a counter.
Yeah.
So like, it just made sense. We were debating Garbodor as well to potentially not give Zard like a free setup, but yeah, we ended up deciding Rotom Wash.
Yeah, even if Zard came out, Rotom Wash is a good, just so we can T-Wave it fast and get rid of it. And when you know it, Charizard does come out first. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like with Charizard out here, we were like, all right, well, this is why we have Rotom Wash. It's like a physical counter, so might as well Thunder Wave it.
Yep.
And we just clicked Thunder Wave really fast.
Yeah, and they actually go for D-Dance turn 1, which was kind of a surprise from
Right.
I thought.
Going for game turn 1.
Yeah, I thought they would switch out to. I don't really know what they would switch out into. Maybe like Snorlax or something. But they just straight up set up turn 1. Which was a little scary because Rotom Wash actually takes half from Flare Blitz.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Everything on our team takes a lot from this monster, so...
We needed to get rid of it as soon as possible. So right after that, we just Volt Switch out of there. Get some damage.
Yeah, we're thinking we'll Volt Switch, we'll get a little bit of damage. We don't have Hydro Pump, we can't really hit this.
Yeah.
And we want to, we anticipate a Dragon Claw or a Flare Blitz, and really Garbodor would give a lot of damage to that. Or would give a lot of recoil damage.
Yeah.
So we figure we'll do a little bit of Volt Switch damage and go into that.
Yeah, so we go into Garbodor here, and then he unfortunately gets paralyzed. That was kind of lucky for us. I don't know what would have happened if he actually got a move on. Move on is there, because Flare Blitz just straight up kills us. So
admittedly, I don't think it would have made too big of a difference in the end, because even if he Flare Blitzed and killed us, he would have taken so much recoil, he would have been in close combat range, and we just bring an Infernape in close combat. So it's not the end of the world. But now at this point, we have Garbodor in, and we're not sure what kind of set this is. DD is typically offensive. It could be running Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, probably not though. It could be running Earthquake, it could be running Roost. And knowing that Earthquake would not allow us to, like, I don't know, give it any recoil because of no Aftermath, no Rocky Helmet, no Flare Blitz recoil, etc. We really wanted to scout for Earthquake because it made a lot of sense for them to bring it. However, in order to do that, we need to switch into our Rotom Wash and play some mind games. So we end up deciding Rotom Wash is the way to go. And so we do switch into our Rotom Wash as they just go straight up for a Flare Blitz. And it does a clean 55% with a lot of recoil.
Yeah.
And so I think here we're thinking, oh, if they don't have Earthquake, we'll just go into Garbodor and they'll take a ton of damage. And we decide not to go into Crook here. Crook has Intimidate, but Crook would take like a ton of damage, and then we have to play the mind game of Earthquake or Knockoff, because if we go for Earthquake and he switches into Gengar, then they get like momentum with Gengar, which is awful for us. But if we go for Knockoff, then they take out our Crocodile. So just rather than do that, we figure we'll go into Garbodor and let it take a ton of recoil if it wants to go for something that's not Earthquake, which we don't think it has at this point.
Yeah, so we do go into Garbodor right here, and he just straight up Flare Blitz, and it one-shots us. But luckily for us, it kills the Charizard along with Garbodor. So I think that was a fair switch or a trade.
Yeah, and like that was part of Garbodor's like role. Like, Garbodor was there to make sure that if Charizard sets up, like, if it's going to kill something, it's going to die along with killing that one thing, which is Garbodor.
Yeah, so luckily we got rid of Charizard really early on. It set up really early and died really early, which was really good for us because we didn't have a lot for it. Unfortunately, our Rotom Watch is pretty weakened, which would have been good if we didn't have him weakened, but we can work around it. So right now, he went into Dugtrio.
Yeah, we were thinking about, like, what should we bring in, and the thing is, we don't want to go into anything that could potentially get trapped by Dugtrio. Yeah. So we weren't going to want to go into Infernape. I mean, Rotom Wash was, like, fine, but at such a low percent, if they brought in Gengar, or even Hitmonlee, they could potentially KO it. So what really made sense is, if they went into Gengar, we could go into Crook. If they went into Dugtrio, it'd be fine. If they went into Hitmonlee, we almost OHKO with Earthquake. If they go into Melodic or Snorlax, it'd be nice to get a knockoff. So overall, it just made sense to go into Crook here.
Yeah, and that's what we do. So right here, we decide, like, nothing wants to take a knockoff at this point. Not even Hitmonlee, which
nothing does.
Because every team member here wants their item.
Yeah, and at -1, Reversal doesn't KO us.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
If we knock it down to its Sash.
Yeah, and it does have Sash, but they do not run the Reversal set. They just straight up go for Stealth Rocks, which fair play. Even though our team isn't that weak to Stealth Rock, but it's good to have it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that little chip damage adds up. Yeah. But I don't think they anticipated us to be Scarf, so I think they anticipated, Reversal's not going to do a lot because we outspeed and we'll be at full health, so we'll go for Rocks and then get down to our Sash and then do a lot with Reversal.
Yeah, that's so
I think that was the thought process.
Yeah, but now they do know that we're Scarf, obviously. But, like, we don't lose anything for going for a knockoff again, so we just stay in and go for knockoff. And we get rid of Dougie really early. All they did was get up some Stealth Rocks, which is really nice. Obviously, after we kill Dugtrio, they go into Hitmonlee because that's the best answer to Crook. Because it can also potentially be Scarf, and we are Scarf into knockoff right now. Yeah. So they have a safe zone.
We're 1 point faster than Scarf Hitmonlee, though, too, which is worth noting.
Yeah, that's true. But it still doesn't take that much from knockoff, even though its physical defense is pretty bad, so he could easily just take us out right now. So what we thought was, let's go into a Sylveon, because going for Poison Jab, probably a little risky for them right now, but they could make the prediction. But we decided to go into Sylveon anyway, to see what they do.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Sylveon is one of our more expendable members on the team.
Yeah, that's true. But they actually use the Fake Out Normal Gem set, which I don't see that often anymore. It used to be.
Yeah, no, it was a big thing in Gen 5, but at this point, I mean, we take the hit well. We take a Poison Jab from Life Orb. We take a High Jump Kick from Life Orb. So we're like, we'll just, go for Hyper Voice. I mean, Snorlax seems to be the most, like, sensible switch in here, and, like, we can Calm Mind up alongside that, or we can just go straight into our Scizor even to set up alongside it. If they go into Snorlax, if they go into Milotic, we can Calm Mind up alongside that. We can Wish Pass into Rotom potentially on the Melodic as well. If they want to go into Gengar, which would take 25, 30, 35% from a Hyper Voice, we break its Sash potentially if it has one, which is the only way it can beat our Scarf Crook. So, yeah, it just made sense to go for a Hyper Voice here.
Yeah.
So that's what we end up deciding on.
Yeah, and they actually
sure enough,
go for Poison Jab here. I was kind of surprised, but anyway. We go for Hyper Voice, we just straight up kill Hitmonlee. So right now, you can obviously notice that we just kill everything after, like, the first turn they come out, which is very good for us. So I think we were in a very good position at the moment. Unfortunately, he does poison our Sylveon, meaning we can't really stay alive for as long as we want, but anyway, they go into Milotic right now, so.
Yeah, and so they bring in Milotic, and it's like, we could leave in our Sylveon and get some Hyper Voice damage, but at the same time, because of Gengar being there, we might want to have an extra sack for later in the game, so we end up saving it, and we're not going to take anything from Scald from a Milotic with our Rotom Wash, and if we go into that, we can easily just Pain Split up or Volt Switch on whatever comes in and keep momentum, and really, they have a full health Snorlax, they have a really healthy Milotic, they have a full health Gengar, so our low health our low health Rotom, like, after taking a Scald, even if they get the burn, will Pain Split up on anything. So it makes sense to save our Sylveon for later and to go into Rotom.
Yeah, so we keep Sylveon as our Death Father for Gengar because Gengar is the biggest threat on their team at the moment. for our team. So we just paint split on the Milotic. We get a lot of health back.
Yeah, all that health.
Yeah, and we also do not get burned from the Scald, which is very nice. And they actually switch out into Snorlax here, which was the best thing to do in their position because Milotic can't do anything unless they had Dragon Tail, which I doubt they did have at that point because they didn't use it. They also don't want to take a Volt Switch that much, but we actually go for Toxic here, predicting the Snorlax, but we both kind of forgot that Snorlax got immunity at this moment. So
we figured, well, I mean, like, the thing is, you also figure that Thick Fat is, like, generally the superior ability when we have, like, an Infernape, but, I mean, whatever. We figured Toxic would be really helpful against Milotic. If they go into Gengar after Leftovers, we live any Life Orb hit from Gengar and can T-Wave it, so that's not a big deal. If they go into Snorlax, we were like, oh, that we're fine with Toxicking that. If it's a Rest Tox set, that'll, like, force it to eventually, like, or it'll force it to rest a bit earlier if it gets Toxic, so. But of course, immunity, and we both were like, oh, wait, what? Yeah. So, good stuff on Jeff's part.
Yeah.
But now we're like we said earlier, Snorlax is not that scary. Almost any set, unless it's running Fire Punch, we go straight into our Scizor. And if it's running Fire Punch, we only take about 50% from it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So we just go straight into our Scizor, and he curses, which is fine. At this point, we take 75% from a Fire Punch, and we can just SD up. And if we do SD up and they have Fire Punch and go for it, we'll be at 25% health, but we'll be at +2 and can Superpower and, like, have a really good shot at KOing it. And then sack it against, you know, maybe a Gengar or Milotic if they come in.
Yeah, I saw this as an opportunity to set up on Mega Scizor, so we go for Superpower.
But, like, if they don't have Fire Punch, this is kind of like this is GG pretty much.
Yeah, it pretty much is. And what do you look at that? They go for Earthquake, meaning they do not have Fire Punch, luckily for us. So we just straight up kill the Snorlax with the Superpower, which I was very happy about. Even with F+1 defense, they still did
straight up knockout.
Yep. So now they go into Milotic, and since we're at +1, they actually live a Bug Bite, so that was kind of unfortunate. But we actually live the Scald back,
and we don't get burnt.
Yeah, so that was pretty good on our part. Luckily for us. So at this point, it's pretty much GG unless Gengar has Focus Sash.
Not even, because if we bring it down to its Sash, I mean, we go into a Crook and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be like Scarf, Focus Blast, and crit everything.
Yeah. But Gengar just dies, so that's GG. Pretty short game, pretty I don't remember the word.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, straightforward, that was the word, thank you. Kind of disappointing bout for the playoffs, but we were all kind of stressed out, and it was all very badly planned. Next week, though, in the finale, thank God we made it. We promise it won't be post-com, and it will be a very, very good battle.
It'll be up against Sam and Austin.
Yeah.
For the championship. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh, and that is why we have Tangela.
Yeah, pretty much the only reason why we have Tangela. I feel bad for saying that to poor little Tangela, but it's pretty much the only reason.
Yep.
So I hope you join us on that. That will be on Midnight Zero's channel, of course. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.